Brothers and sisters and friends, this afternoon we want to talk about the ballot or the bullet. The ballot or the bullet explains itself. We have a fight that's common to all of us. We suffer political oppression, economic exploitation, and social degradation. Today it's time to stop singing and start swinging.
Good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning.
Hey.
First Sky Omaha in the morning.
In the morning.
My name is Paul B. He's Buddy to God.
Hey.
And we're back with a fresh edition of First Sky Omaha in the morning. It is the 14th of April already, mid-April.
Yeah.
And for a lot of us, that means there's one more day in the tax season, which is sorry to start you off with that thought, but it is what it is. Yeah. If you didn't get them done yet, you might want to call your tax preparer or hit the IRS and say you need an extension.
Message. Because
it is due tomorrow. So
message.
Yeah. Oh, that's the wrong message. This is the message I'm looking for. Message. Appreciate you joining us on this Monday. Hopefully your weekend went well. Love to hear about it. Definitely put it in the chat. I see RG's up early saying Monday, the ain't no fun day.
Man, I like that. Man, definitely feeling the case of the Mondays a little bit right now. Kind of a slow morning already.
Man.
Yeah. Let us know how you feeling. How was your weekend? I heard it was nice out there in Omaha over the weekend.
Yeah, weather wasn't too bad. Weather was not too bad. Let us know if you guys got out to some of the things that's happened. We'll definitely be talking about some of the meetings that went down over the weekend, and then
busy.
Yeah, a little bit busy. We'll get into it. I see Judy Prinzler in the chat saying happy to be with y'all. I appreciate it. Thank you. Happy you joined us this morning. Marla Harrison says, good morning, First Sky family, and happy Motivation Monday.
Okay.
Leigh Keisha says, happy Marvelous Monday to all. So,
okay.
RG, you getting outvoted. It's a good Monday so far.
Yeah. A little more positive spin on the Monday. I like that. Although I am feeling the case of the Monday's energy, I like, y'all trying to get me out of it. Thank you.
Yeah, appreciate that. Yep. Definitely lots to talk about. He says the weather was fabulous. Yeah, weather was not bad out here. We get a few days of it a year.
Yeah, handful.
Yeah, little windy. There was an advisory yesterday, though. They talked a lot about the air quality. They said there was an air quality alert. So, did anybody feel that respiratory stuff going on? A lot of smoke in the air yesterday. Everybody who's kind of suffering from sinuses and upper respiratory stuff was suffering a little bit, and they told me they wanted you to stay inside. So, the weather was nice, but it was a little smoky out. And I wanted to know that. I wanted to know if anybody really kind of felt the difference yesterday. Let us know.
A little smog.
Yeah. Well, they call it smoke. They were like, it's going to be 78 with a chance of smoke. I was like, what? Never heard that one before.
They don't want no smoke.
Never heard of that.
Yeah.
Like, man. So
that's a new one.
Yeah, it is a new one. So apparently there's this is the season for fires. We're also under a fire alert at this point too, because it's super windy.
I did see that.
Super windy. So fire alert today. If they're saying don't do fires because they'll spread fast with the wind and so on. So I guess this is fire season all over. Kansas City, or as far as out as Kansas, we get smoke blown in from all directions. It sounds like. So yeah, watch yourself. It's supposed to be better quality today, but we'll see. Got a couple of people coming in from Douglas County Health Department today too to talk a little bit about what we can do as far as the lead is concerned. So hopefully we'll be anticipating our guests to come in and talk about that. And since they're from the health department, we can talk a little bit about that air quality we just talked about. Hopefully we'll see. Heather Williams gives us a good morning, everyone. Pop says good Monday morning, First Sky, and mad love from Las Vegas. Appreciate you. Michelle Moreno gives us a good morning. Marla Harrison says my cousin had his prom on Saturday, and I gave him $40 to go out to eat with his date before the prom.
Okay, big cuz.
All right, big cuz.
Yeah,
$40.
Thought you go out to eat after prom.
Is that what happened? Before and after, maybe. I don't know.
Hey, maybe work up sweat.
Yeah, that's what's up, man. Yeah, appreciate that. Looking out for the young ones.
Prom season.
Go ahead.
Prom season.
Is it? Okay. I done lost all track of that.
Yeah,
it's been so long.
Hey.
prom season. I'm seeing we'll be seeing pictures of tuxedo children driving around in limos.
Man, yeah, they going all out. I'm trying, is $40 enough? I mean, they going all out
I
nowadays.
didn't want to call them out, but I was like, well, what's she gonna eat if you
Man,
gave Cuz 40? Yeah, it's tough out here, but that kind of leads me to some of the things I wanted to talk about today too.
okay,
What I've been thinking about over the weekend, just as Marlon Harrison did, helping out fam, and I was just thinking about getting with fam, and really in these days and times taking care of each other in a big way. Got to spend a little bit of time with the family this weekend myself, and we all kind of really talked about that. Like, stuff is rough out here. We all kind of better get together. If we got beef, we better put it aside
man,
and, and get with your family and really kind of team up and do what you got to do. If it's conducive, we don't ever want to encourage anybody to stay in situations of abuse and so on. But like, as much as you can, let's get together as a family and take care of each other, because it's getting wild out here with this current administration.
big time.
Big
Yeah,
time.
we'll talk about that.
RG says 78 with a chance to smoke. Looking for Chris Tucker. Wanda Lewis gives us a good morning. Appreciate you guys joining us this morning. We'll jump into the haps here, is the community haps here in a minute. But first, buddy, how was your weekend?
Man, my weekend was all right, man. Kind of same energy. Spent a little time with the fam. Had a kickback, went through. And other than that, man, just kind of chilled out. It was definitely a beautiful weekend. Enjoyed the weather. But yeah, just chilled out. Had a buddy of mine from college come through and visit, and we just been kind of hanging out. But yeah, pretty light weekend. I like it. Yeah.
Yeah, you don't get much rest these days. I'm glad to hear you had a little light
Hey,
for sure.
take it when you can. Now, still not much rest, but take the highs with the lows.
Yeah, all right. That's only gonna last so long. Pretty soon. You ain't gonna be young enough to be up in all hours of the night and day anymore.
Man. Yeah, hey, I'm running on fumes as we speak. But I'm all right. Glad to be here. Looking forward to today. How about yourself, man? How's life?
Yeah, like I said, just really kind of concentrating on what the important things are right now, which is how can we all take care of each other in these days and times. So, and just kind of checking out stuff. I go on a little bit of a news diet on the weekends because we're so heavy in the week that I kind of try to take a little bit of a break, take a real big break on Sunday from it all. I don't even hardly look at the phone on Sunday. So yeah, just trying to maintain and make sure that we keep the things in mind that are important. Shout out to brother Kasim, BAA. I just saw him post the other day. Speaking of things that are important, he showed pictures of the Survival Club. Look at all these kids out there you got out here on the land, man, walking. He did a post and talked about what he, taking care of each other. The kids in Survival Club. There's some young ladies that they're going to do this with the young ladies as well, not just the young men. Pretty soon.
Nice.
So he said lots of parent involvement. So just shout out to brother Kasim and the BAA and everything that he's doing. He had a great statement that says what it looked like when it's yours, when there's no confusion in it, when it's direct, and when they ask us, Kasim, who is your focus? And my reply every single time is that my focus is us. Like everyone else have created space for theirs. There's almost nothing in place where our boys are allowed to feel safe and demonstrate their love for themselves without interference, where in 2025, many are struggling to cope with the idea that they are striving hard to write off the Afro-American experience. But for us, the message of the Black Agenda Alliance Urban Survival Club Omaha, it will always be that it is our own responsibility to fill the void of education about who we are. It is our own responsibility to gratify and celebrate ourselves. And it is most definitely our responsibility to guide our youth into the fulfillment of self-value and purpose. And guess what else? It's our own responsibility to fund it. So I thought that was real, first of all, poignant. And then interesting that he ended it with that line too. This is the year that we're really kind of digging into the benevolent illusion, which is that nonprofit organizations aren't the only answer. Philanthropy money is not the only answer. They may be a part of the equation sometimes, and for some, it's not any of the equation. For some, it all needs to come from us. So we need to figure out how we can take care of each other and self-fund our projects and our education of the kids and so on and so forth. So just shout out to him for that. That statement. I thought that was something that was it's always good to see when he's got the Survival Club out, all the kids out there and all that. Really awesome. So shout out to him. Also, brother Sherman Wells, definitely check out his page, Sherman L. Wells on Facebook. His statement says, North Omaha, We may be small community, but we're deeply connected. Let's choose love over hate, unity over division. We're all we got in this era of existence. We are the change we've been waiting for. I love y'all.
Big time, man. Love that, brother.
Big time.
Man.
And I believe this is a response of, we had some violence in the community this weekend. Unfortunately, some people lost their life in the towers. And I think that statement came right after that. So, we're just a reminder that even when there's trouble in our community, spread love, bro. That's all we can really do, is just keep spreading love and trying to help each other. Prayers go out to the families and the people that were involved in that situation. And hopefully it's every bad situation like that, it hits close to home, because we're all related in Omaha, just about.
Man.
So it touches somebody every time. So just want to say that. Also, I just want to jump back in the chat real quick. Pop says, Paul, where is she gonna eat, was exactly what I said in my words. That's cold, Pops. Me and you on the same page.
Man.
RG says, speaking of Kasim, Black Agenda Alliance community meeting on Sunday, the 27th at Assembly of the Saints from 2 to 4. Appreciate that.
All right.
Yep. Appreciate that very much. And that's it. Let us know. Let us know what happened over the weekend. Empowerment Network did their meeting over at North. Did anybody go to this? Let us know. This was Saturday from 8:15 to 12. Let us know. What did the plan get finished? Who said what? What did the candidates talk about? If you went, give us a little highlight, little report, something that stuck out to you about that meeting, if you were able to show up to that. So yeah, appreciate that very much. And also, Empowerment Network is I didn't pull that up yet. Empowerment Network has their next event coming up here that you might want to check out as well. The Easter in the Village is coming up April 19th. So just a few days from now, April 19th, 24th in Ohio, the 24th in Burdett. There'll be candy, egg hunts. Boy, going on an egg hunt these days means something different, don't it? High dollar eggs out there. Live music. Give me adults out there trying to get them eggs.
Hey, as soon as you said that, pushing the kids out the way, move.
Man, live music, museum, shopping, church activities, food and snacks, giveaway, game and prizes, a photo booth, a scavenger hunt, smoothies, and more. Community baby shower.
Okay.
It's going down in the village, man. You can see all the people at the bottom there that are involved in this as well. So shout out to Empowerment Network for bringing folks together again. Saturday, April 19th, Easter in the Village at 24th and Lake. Big deal. A lot of vendors going to be out there. So definitely check it out. That's where I heard it first, was the vendors that are going to be out there doing the thing. Yep.
Community baby shower, huh?
Yeah. So interesting. We've been trying to get some folks on from there. We're going to get them on when especially when they have events like that. We love for them to come on and kind of explain the story behind why they're putting this on and who's involved and all that. So hopefully we'll be getting some folks on to talk about some of these upcoming events that especially Empowerment Network puts on. So yep. With that, I'm going to move it on right after we talk about this. You can homeschool. This is also coming up April 14th. We talked about this. LRL Academy. This is at 2868 Ames Avenue at the Charles B. Washington Library. We're always looking for opportunities to get together and support each other when it comes to homeschooling, for those of you that are. So here's another one. Unwind and de-stress at the You Can Homeschool Power Hour. Is going down April 14th at 6 p.m. Definitely highly encourage you to go. Even if you don't have kids that you're homeschooling, but you're just thinking about homeschooling, it might be good to just go check it out. And get a little bit more information and meet some moms and dads that are doing this. And highly encourage that. Shout out to the Charles B. Washington Library and the LRL Academy Inc. for putting this on. Hope to see you there. So there you go. And with that, we'll jump out of community updates and get into today's topics of conversation. Buddy, what you got going on?
Yeah, as you see, it's kind of News Monday. We'll be a little bit everywhere today. Actually, if there's anything on your hearts and minds that we're not talking about, definitely feel free to jump into the chat, chime in, let your mind be free, let your voice be heard. Love to hear what you have to say. And what's on your radar, man? Again, kind of a slow Monday, but definitely some things we want to talk about. As Paul mentioned, it was a shooting at the Florence Towers. I want to touch on that a little bit, but not dive too much into it, as that is a developing story. Not too many details coming out, but it was police involved. So, just want to acknowledge that situation. Also, man, a few other things happening. I do want to open up the conversation about our coverage of South Omaha stories. As I mentioned, a few individuals from South Omaha have reached out to us about, sharing some stories and just connecting more into what's going on in South Omaha. And we've expressed interest in having our news coming from an east side perspective, not just North Omaha, understanding that we are speaking predominantly to the Black community, but the Black community isn't just in Omaha. As Kimra says, there's Black folk in South Omaha as well. As my father is a graduate of Omaha South. Of course, we and also let's think about our brothers and sisters out in West Omaha. We'll actually be talking about some wins from Senator Roundtree here pretty soon, so we don't really give him a lot of love, but we'll be talking about that. And just want to get your feel on that and look at some South Omaha stories. They actually just had a town hall over the weekend, and we're all about that. So if anybody went to that, would definitely love to hear your take on that. The two South Omaha senators leading the charge on that. Also, still kind of keeping an eye on the Trump thing. I know we, try not to talk about Trump as much as we can, but this is something definitely very, very interesting as there's a move, man. They're bringing back the legal papers, man. It's kind of taking me, as some people talking about Germany, Nazi Germany, it's taking me back to slavery days, man. Where's your slave papers? Where's your papers? Where's your papers? So yeah, we're definitely going to be talking about that as far as, again, this latest move to require legal papers from undocumented immigrants or from immigrants in general. And it's definitely making me think about the situation in Maryland, where, again, the U.S. citizen was shipped away to El Salvador. I mean, just, again, man, it makes you think of Brother Khalif Browder, and like they could just snatch up anybody, throw away the key. So it will definitely be talking about that. And also, again, mentioning the win from Senator Roundtree, who are helping kind of pushing along the recidivism line that we are on with the RAP program at MCC. Shout out to Diane Good Collins. But again, Senator Roundtree getting a big win over the weekend as far as SNAP benefits, possibly returning SNAP benefits for formerly incarcerated brothers and sisters. Again, talking about recidivism, trying to stay out of jail. If you can eat, that goes a long way in helping with that situation. So yeah, man, it's kind of ridiculous, some of these things that they take away from individuals. So yeah, we'll dive into that. Also, a few other things going on in regards to the University of Nebraska. Speaking of Trump initiatives, DEI making its exit from UNL. I don't know if it's just UNL or the whole University of Nebraska system, including UNK, UNO. So we'll definitely talk about that. But the regents chiming up. Paul, I know you've had some conversation with a few of the regents about their feelings on this DEI situation.
One of them.
Yeah. So yeah, we'll dive into that conversation and more. We're here for the next hour, as I mentioned. Kind of a slow Monday, so that's what we have teed up. But if there's anything happening in your world, anything we might be missing the mark on, yeah, let your mind be free, let your voice be heard. In the meantime, between time, Paul B.
Yo.
What's the word, man?
Let's take a quick break and we'll come back and jump into the conversation. Again, appreciate everybody getting up early with us this morning, all the chat chimers, all the ghost listeners, all the radio, all the monitoring spirits.
There you go.
Yeah, lots of those going on. We have to talk a little bit about the monitoring spirits too, because then it started some mess. Then it started some mess and put my name in it. We'll come back. Yeah, we're gonna come back and talk about that a little bit. Stay tuned. First Sky Omaha in the morning.
In the morning.
Paul B. But God, stay tuned, y'all.
Lead poisoning in children under 7 is scary, but it's also 100% preventable. Not only can lead be found in paint and soil, it can be found in many common spices, certain baby foods, and brought home from job sites. Children with lead poisoning might not show any symptoms until their levels are dangerously high. So ask your healthcare provider for a lead test for your child. You can help prevent lead poisoning in children. Brought to you
We'll be anticipating some guests from Douglas County Health Department today. Naudia McCracken and Noele Smith is supposed to join us a little bit later on to talk about what's going on. I didn't realize in doing the research for them coming on, I didn't realize that the Douglas County Health Department does lead testing every Tuesday. There's a lot of stuff we're going to be able to find out about how we can kind of battle what's going on with the lead situation, and not just in the yards, the remediation, but in food and paint and everything that is around us. So yeah, shout out to them for being able to come on and talk to us about that. We're anticipating them coming on a little later on in the show. But yeah, appreciate everybody who's joined us this morning. Also, Maggie Miller Jenkins is in the chat talking about that university vote. She says that vote was for all of Nebraska University. So there you go, buddy.
Man, thank
that
you.
one. She says, also, can we acknowledge that DEI is the modern N word? Man, they're not pointing out that white women, people with disabilities, and veterans are included in DEI. Yeah, it's messed with everybody. And it's really interesting to see memes and see stuff going on everywhere. Messages from people who are losing their positions and jobs. And yeah, it ain't all the folks they were trying to target with that. So very interesting that's the case. As far as DEI when I think of DEI, I think of even further back, 5, 6, 7 years ago, when I think of brother Sharif Lararu, who had a DEI position in Omaha Public Schools, OPS, and lost his position for pretty much doing his job, for speaking up about diversity there. And so, and a couple other folks that I know, black folks that had DEI jobs that were pretty much eliminated, and they got pushed out of their positions really early on. So it's been 3 or 4 or 5 years since I heard of anybody black taking a DEI job, myself personally. You know what I'm saying? So, it's interesting that they still attach that to, they just, it's just interesting that they attach there are these new phrases, and they're all still kind of code words for who they don't want in there, and it's messed up. I don't even put it past them that they, it's not just black folks that they don't want in there. They probably don't want women in there. They probably don't want disabled folks. But you know what I'm saying? Like they might be discriminating against everybody on that.
Man,
no special treatment. If they can't get special treatment, nobody can, I guess, right?
Well, let's go ahead and dive into it. Big shout out to Regent Elizabeth O'Connor, who was joining the regent that you spoke to, Ms. Barbara White, in opposition to this move. She says the decision was weighed heavily. That's according to Nebraska Examiner. And it kind of acknowledge exactly what, the chat is saying. Regent O'Connor says the practices targeted are often research-based practices with decades of education research that indicates numerous benefits to individuals, community, and society. O'Connor also said the federal action against DEI didn't specifically define the targeted program. So although, yes, it can be seen as a new N-word, this is equal opportunity discrimination, if you will. Again, she noted DEI isn't just race or ethnicity, but is also about women, first-generation college students, non-traditional students, veterans, low-income students, and students with disabilities. So, again, such a decision can have a wide-reaching implication as far as not only the students being, in jeopardy, but the programs and everything being jeopardized. Again, we just talked about on Friday, Dr. McDuffie coming to UNL to talk about his book, examining Garveyism and the Battle of Africa and all these pro-black movements. We've seen also, Paul, you mentioned the long list of words and phrases that nonprofits can't use. And now this is coming into the educational sphere. So again, very, very interesting to see how this plays out and how this will move forward. Like, does this mean no more black studies at UNO? Does this mean no more undesigned, the red line exhibit at UNO? What is this? You know what I mean? Like, there's some brilliant minds that work in the Nebraska university system in the realm of diverse, education and black studies. And what does this mean for them?
Yeah. Well, say you leave it in the chat. RG in the chat says, my cousin had an entire DEI business with the office here in town, and then Omaha did what Omaha does, and she left the city. So, like I said, this has been going on for quite a while, but now we're in a different realm now with who's being affected here. Cheryl Weston in the chat, good morning, says women, particularly white women, benefited the most from DEI. Definitely am hearing people chime up against that. I'm seeing a lot of people who are trying to help, call themselves allies and protesting against these changes are people who have been affected by them changes. So yeah, I think it's really interesting how this is all panning out. But you're right, like this will end up being this is just the precursor to a lot of things that they're already trying to take things away. You can see them doing it in other areas, and then of course, that might mean that exactly that no more ethnic studies period out of certain universities and stuff like that. So, yeah, where else are you seeing this? I would like to put it out to the chat, put it out to you, the chat chimers, ghost listeners. Where else are you seeing the big changes being made? I know that we have a lot of people in the chat or that listen to us that are inside some of these industries, inside the university system, teachers in OPS and so on and so forth. Where are you seeing this in your own personal fields? We would love to know that, love to understand where that's coming from. So again, this is something that we do kind of have to talk about, like you said. Like we don't always try to talk about these things, but a lot of this stuff is really hitting close to home on a bunch of different
Mm-hmm.
this time. So, yeah, yeah, I'd love to hear from you about that in particular, those things. So let us know.
Yeah. On that note, I'm also looking at another comment from Sister Cheryl Weston, which is kind of along the lines of what I'm thinking for another story that's dealing with these Trump changes and how it's impacting everything. She says Trump is testing the waters with immigrants needing papers before hitting U.S. citizens, particularly black and brown folks. And again, very, very interesting situation, and the parallels between these are jumping out to me. And yeah, I think this is just starting as far as what's going on with this whole Trump situation. And to your point, we try to not talk about it as much as we can, but it's going to be hard to avoid. I think this is something that America as we know it is on a very, very slippery slope, and we've been seeing this, but the latest moves are just leaps in that direction. And this latest news coming out of Nebraska Examiner is quite concerning as far as immigrants without legal status must now register and carry documents after a court order. Millions of immigrants in the country without legal authorization are required as of Friday to register with the U.S. Department of Homeland Security after a federal judge rejected advocacy groups' request to pause the requirement. They also have to carry documents proving their registration. This Thursday decision from U.S. District Court Judge Neil McFadden, of the District of Columbia, allows the Trump administration to issue hefty fines and potential prison sentences if those subject to registration requirement do not comply. McFadden, who was appointed by, again, President Donald Trump in 2017, said in his ruling that the advocacy groups lacked legal standing, meaning they had not shown how they would be harmed by the requirement to bring the suit. In an order, he wrote, as organizations, many of their harms are too speculative, and they have failed to show that the rule will erode their core missions. But again, this is a very concerning step when you also take in consideration the fact that Trump is trying to eliminate birthright citizenship.
Yeah, interesting. Yeah, putting all these things together, that it's a real threat that you could be deported or sent somewhere. I just heard this morning on that case of the guy who got sent to El Salvador by mistake. The Trump administration said it was a mistake, and the courts ordered them to bring him back. And El Salvador chiming up like, "You don't got no right to tell us to release anybody." So he's meeting with the I think the president of El Salvador today, and is going to be talking about their relationship, but not really. I don't know if he's going to talk about getting that brother out, but he's probably going to be talking about how to get more folks over there.
Man,
they're getting paid to send people there. They're paying El Salvador to incarcerate people. So yeah, this is in this. We think they were touting that this was about the gangs culture and the situation, the El Salvadorian criminals and gang members that were coming over here. It's way beyond that now, and it's a literal threat, kind of a real situation to think anybody who they deem they don't want to they don't like or is speaking out against them could be next. Just what it is.
Man.
Von Chapman in the chat is saying, what would happen if all black athletes left the sports programs in Nebraska University system? Yep, talking about some ways to be able to kind of kick back and protest against some of those things. Master Miller Jenkins says, I know of 2 people that have been stopped by ICE and assumed to be illegal. What happens when being brown means being illegal? Don't it already?
Right.
We're about to find out. Right. So appreciate everybody's comments on these things. When I saw that article, I kind of flipped out, man. I grew up on 80s films and stuff where they were all the Nazi films and stuff where Germany being there. Show me your papers. That's how it's going to be. You're walking down the street now. You got to show them your passport.
Wear your star.
Master Miller Jenkins, no one is illegal on stolen land. That's for sure.
Facts.
We're going to take it there. Let's take a quick break. It is 7:30 right now. If you believe in the concept of time, we got a special guest waiting in the wings. We'll go ahead and take a quick break and bring them in. Stay tuned. You're listening to First Sky Omaha in the morning.
In the morning.
My name is Paul B. He's Buddy to God.
Me.
Yeah, stay tuned. We've got special guests coming up. We'll be right back. Welcome back. First Sky Omaha in the morning.
In the morning.
My name is Paul B. He is Buddy to God. Man. And we got a couple special guests waiting in the wings. We're going to go ahead and bring them in, ladies and gentlemen. Without further ado, we have Naudia McCracken in the chat and also Noele Smith in the chat in the same time. Good morning, y'all.
Good morning.
How's it going?
It's going. It's
really
good.
You guys look like you up bright and early on a Monday. How's Monday treating you so far?
So far, so good.
Yeah, pretty good.
Good. We'll put you guys up top for everybody to see. I'm shuffling the cards. Well, we appreciate you guys coming through from the Douglas County Health Department. We talked to what's our guy over there that we talked to?
Phil Rooney.
Yeah, Phil Rooney. Yeah,
my main man Philip.
Yeah, man. Last time he came on, he was. We found out he was a musician too. He can play.
Get down.
Check out Phil. You guys play. You guys in the rap game or anything? What's going on? Nah, you don't got no bars.
Cool enough.
No, I can sing a little. I can sing a little bit.
Okay.
Oh, look. Don't say that on this show. You might be over here blown in a minute. No, we appreciate you guys coming on, and we love to make sure that everybody who's checking us out knows who you are. So first and foremost, please introduce yourselves. Let us know who you are, where you work, and if whether or not you're from Omaha. That's another question we've been asking a lot lately. Yeah, go ahead, Miss McCracken. You can go first.
Yes. I'm Naudia McCracken, and I'm the supervisor for the lead poisoning prevention program at Douglas County Health Department. I'm not originally from Omaha. I'm actually from Guyana, which is in South America.
Nice.
And so I moved here about almost 15 years ago, actually.
Okay.
I've been working at the health department for about 10 years now.
Nice. Okay. Got in town when I got in town about 15 years ago. That's what's up. Yeah, appreciate it. How about you, Miss Smith?
Yeah, I'm Noele Smith. I'm our community health educator for the lead poisoning and prevention programs. Naudia is my supervisor. I'm born and raised in Omaha. So I've been here. I went to Lincoln for 4 years, but came right back.
Okay. Omaha girl. Okay. Well,
no wonder you can sing. No, I'm just playing.
But definitely appreciate y'all joining us, especially so early in the morning. We've been, talking about this lead program, pushing it for a while. Definitely a big thank you to the Douglas County Health Department for teaming up with us on this. But as 2 women leading this, what is your perspective of the importance of this project, and just a little bit more information on it from your perspective?
Yeah, lead poisoning actually is a very big problem here in Omaha. We have the nation's largest lead Superfund site. And what that means is that there was a lot of industrial pollution in Omaha for over 100 years.
Mm.
At one point, we had the largest lead smelter in the world, so we had a lot of production going on here, and it blew a lot of lead dust into the air, and it settled in a lot of yards here in Omaha, especially in eastern Omaha, north and south Omaha. And so our program is geared to doing follow-up to the soil cleanup that's taking place here in Omaha. It's still ongoing. It's been going on for about over 20 years, actually. The city of Omaha has taken it over, and they're doing a great job of cleaning up yards now. We do investigations whenever children are poisoned with lead. And so not only do we have, soil contamination in the yards, we also have older housing. So any housing that's built before pre-1970, 1978 could actually have lead paint present within that dwelling. Prior to 1978, lead was allowed to be used in paint. And so we have a lot of homes that have chipping and peeling paint in East Omaha, and we see more children being poisoned through lead-based paint. So our program raises a lot of awareness. We have people out in the community constantly talking about what we do, and Noele does a great job of education and outreach. She oversees that, actually, and so I'll let her talk a little bit about that.
Yeah.
Yeah, nice. Go ahead.
Yeah, so I think what kind of our goal is making sure it's widely known for everybody. As even though lead cases have continued to go down over the years, there's still about 300 children every year that have lead poisoning. And so what we know about the impacts and how it affects their brain, their development, lifelong issues, it's really important to have early interventions and educating families on proper testing, making sure their home is safe from lead, and just making sure their children are safe and that they can all kids have an equal development and fair chance. And so that's kind of a little bit what I do.
Okay.
That's cool.
Yeah. Just quickly, what are like some of the symptoms that families can look out for lead to say, hey, I might want to get my child tested for lead poisoning?
Yeah, it can damage the brain and the nervous system. A lot of times children will develop symptoms that are kind of like ADHD. And so it can be confused for that a lot. It can affect the growth. So when we see children having high lead levels, it can stunt the growth. It can lead to kidney damage, low birth weights, especially if we have women who are pregnant now that were exposed to lead as a child, that can be leached into the system and affect the baby that's growing within. And so it's really important. We just want to raise more awareness about that. It lowers the IQ. So when children, are going to school, they might not be doing as well in school because they can't pay attention to what's being taught in school. So we're just really trying to ensure that people are aware of it. A lot of times those symptoms can be confused for anything. So the only way to really know if a child's been poisoned or exposed to lead is to have a lead test done. And that's just a little finger prick. We do them in our clinic on Tuesday mornings. You can schedule an appointment with us and get your child tested if you're interested as well. Yep, that's our website. If you're interested and you're thinking of becoming pregnant sometime in the future, we can test your blood as well, so you're aware if you are exposed and then the necessary steps to then take to decrease that exposure.
Interesting.
Okay. And that was kind of my follow-up question, as far as if you are, tested, or you have a family member that's tested and there are high levels of lead found, what is the next step? What is done, to help combat that, or to at least give the families resources?
Yeah, so we actually will go into homes once we find out that a child's been exposed to lead. We open up a case. We assign an educator to go out to the home, as well as what we call a lead risk assessor, and they're basically lead investigators. They'll go out, and we have these really cool guns that we can test paint to see if it's leaded or not. So we'll determine if there are any lead-based paint hazards within the home. In Omaha, we are fortunate that we have a lead ordinance. So if there is chipping and peeling paint within a home that's leaded, the landlord then has 30 days to address those hazards. And so we put that in our reports, the recommendations as well. The city of Omaha does have a program. It's called the Lead Hazard Reduction Program. It's funded through HUD, and there are quite a few of these across the nation. But they are really great in that they help people who may not necessarily have the resources to address those, chipping and peeling paint hazards. within their home to actually be able to fix it. And so that's both for landlord or tenant occupied properties as well as owner occupied properties. So there is a resource available as well. It can be very expensive to address lead-based paint in older homes, especially in those windows or historical homes. A lot of times you can't really take out the windows and put in a new window. You have to kind of fix what's already there and stabilize it. And so it's a really good program for that. But we also have exposure to lead in spices that we've seen. In fact, in Omaha, it's become the second leading cause of lead poisoning here. And so it could be imported spices coming in from Southeast Asia, or some that you may even buy from the local ethnic stores, where we're seeing that children get exposed to like things like turmeric or masala, especially our refugee and our immigrant populations from those countries in Southeast Asia. So India especially, we do see a lot of exposure to spices.
Yeah, that struck me too. I was wondering, how does that get tested? How you test your spices to see if there's lead in it?
Yeah, so we actually collect samples when we go into the homes and we suspect that the exposure is spice. And then we send it to the Nebraska State Agri Lab, and they'll do the analysis there, and then we'll get the results back, and then we'll share those with the people in those homes and let them know, hey, we don't recommend you using these spices. Here are some safer alternatives. So we've been testing spices since 2016 actually, and so we do have a huge inventory of spices that we've tested, so we can see ones that are safer to be used versus the ones that have our higher lead levels as well. And it's really hard telling people to stop, using these spices that you've been using all your life. I mean, I'm from Guyana, where we use a lot of Indian spices. I love my curry. And so when I'm using it, I'm like, okay, maybe I shouldn't give this to my children at all. I can use it once in a while, because lead is something that accumulates in our body. So we technically, sorry, my lights go out. So
I thought it was an emergency happening over there.
My lights just go out. So we tell people, don't eat it as often, that you want to have a variety of things in your diet. Don't eat the same spice that you eat every single day, or even like baby food. Sometimes there have been baby food that have been found to have lead in it, like your root vegetables, so your sweet potatoes, your carrots, and so forth. And we're like, no, please don't give your children these every single day. Change it up a little bit. Give them maybe apple or something, and then also do a little bit of research and see, which ones are the safer ones online. Call us if you have questions, so we can advise you as well.
Spices, man. You guys are making me remember back. There was a point in time in my life when I was working construction and actually painting, and had to go in and scrape off lead paint from windowsills and stuff like that. And I was in hazmat suits and all kinds of stuff to do it. And I just remember the smell and the taste of that, just like, ugh. And so, and it just brought all those memories back about, and I know the older houses, especially in North and South Omaha, the older houses, I know exactly what that looks like. You know what I mean? It made me wonder, Miss Smith, if you said you were born and raised in Omaha, before you got this job and understood what all these things were about, did you have any experience with understanding lead poisoning and or people that close family, friends, anybody who suffered from that? Do you remember testing your yard when you was growing up and stuff like that?
Yeah. So when I was, previously to this job, I didn't know a lot. I knew it was something that affected the brain. I knew it affected minority children more than any other children. Other than that, I didn't know kind of where it was coming from. Growing up, then I actually learned my parents had qualified for some of those programs when they were in their first home. Those older, getting their windows replaced because it was old. And then in our current home, then we kind of found out, that had lead paint too. Unfortunately, there wasn't always, we didn't know about it at that time, about the testing and all that. But unfortunately, there is a lot of homes that are built before 1978, especially east of 72nd Street. So you're right, in North and South Omaha, even in your downtown, midtown, Dundee areas, there is a lot of lead-based paint. And the good thing is, if you live in a house that has lead-based paint, it can be safe as long as it's not chipping and peeling. So as long as it's well maintained, there's not cracking, peeling going on, it's going to be safer. It's really when the chips start to happen. There's dust created that can either be breathed in or maybe a child picks at lead paint. Lead paint tastes sweet, and so sometimes children might start to pick at that and eat it. That can be a really dangerous situation.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
right. So yeah, now I know a lot of these maybe warning signs, things to look at. Like you said, you kind of can see lead paint, maybe be able to visualize it a little bit, and how I can help others educate.
Yeah.
Nice.
Hashtag kids be dirty.
Man, we got a few questions coming in the chat, but before we jump to that, I did have one last question as far as responses to just resources out there. Any mental health resources? Of course, we know there's a connection to behavior with this, but if you do find young folk with lead poisoning, are there any mental health resources for them?
Yeah, so the state does have some mental health resources that we would refer people to. There's also resources at OPS as well that we take advantage of. But a lot of times we tell people, speak to your doctor, talk to them, because they're the ones that can do the diagnoses. And so we do a lot of education as well with clinicians to let them know, there can be mental side effects of this. There was a study that was done in New Zealand where they followed 579 people for 30 years. And they saw that those people had a affinity to develop mental health issues, schizophrenia being one of them. So it could turn on that gene as well. And so we do a lot of education with clinicians here so that they're aware of it, that they can look into that when a child's poisoned. Hey, let's see if something else is going on there, and then what other resources are available as well.
Wow. You just kind of open up something. I have a relative who has been diagnosed with schizophrenia, and I have memories of lead dust on our grandmother's windowsills, us playing in the basement. I'm pretty sure we were playing in lead at the time. So that was a thought. Man, I never thought about that connection, but interesting.
Yeah.
We jump.
And I didn't. Oh, sorry. I did want to say also, lead is sweet, and so a lot of times children will just eat it. It tastes like candy, and so they'll go back and again and again and again to eat it and develop pica, which is consuming it all the time. And so we want to make sure that people are aware of that they're cleaning those windowsills. It's springtime right now, you're going to be opening your windows to air your house out. We've had some really great days here, temperature wise. And so just make sure that you're wiping those down with a wet wipe. We do a lot of education about cleaning because it's really expensive to repaint and do all of this work. We just want to make sure that people are cleaning properly as well.
It is 7:47 right now. If you believe in the concept of time, we have two special guests in. If you're just joining us, Naudia McCracken is in the house, and also Noele Smith, who are from Douglas County Health Department. We got a couple questions in the chat. Miss Cheryl Weston is asked a little bit earlier. I think Anthony Rogers Wright already answered her, but she asked, has the EPA officially lowered the acceptable rate of 200 parts per million in the soil? Do you know? I know the answer to that question definitively.
So it hasn't been lowered as yet.
It has not. Okay.
No, it has not. They're doing a site study right now where they're going to review the levels currently here, see if we need to expand the boundaries of the Superfund site, and then determine the extent how many more properties will be qualifying. So that's an ongoing study. I think it's going to be going on through this year and into 2026 before a decision is made.
Wow. Okay. Black Dynamite in the chat is asking, with those lead-based paints, does a lead end up on the body strictly from the consumption, or does it also happen from absorption? So you have to consume these lead chips in order to get sick, or does it you can absorb it on the skin?
So for paint chips, it's definitely through ingestion. So if you're breathing that in, or if you're eating the paint chips, so if you're breathing the dust in, or you're eating the paint chips, mainly that's what we see.
Okay. And one more from Pops. He says, do the towers fall under these restrictions of peeling paint and landlords being required to get it fixed if lead paint was used? So the Omaha public housing under these jurisdictions?
All housing in Omaha and within the city of Omaha. If there's chipping and peeling paint that's been found to have lead, it's 30 days to fix that.
Wow.
All right.
Well, we appreciate it. We've been working with the planning department on the lead remediation program that they had. We did some of the work with them last year. We're going to do some work with them this year. So I'm glad to have you guys on to find out where the other places lead is at and what to do about that as well. So please hit their website. As you can see, they have free blood lead screening by appointment only every Tuesdays. You can get your blood screened to see if you got some lead situations. Is this for children as well? Can children get this test?
Yes, children under the age of 7, as well as pregnant women or women who are interested in getting pregnant. If they're underinsured, uninsured, you give us a call and we'll schedule that appointment.
Okay. Beautiful,
Great.
beautiful. Appreciate you, sisters, for coming on. Thank you so much for spending your time with us this morning. Really appreciate that. And
Thank you.
Having us.
yeah,
Thank you so much.
if you ever have any announcements or any big programs or anything coming on, just let us know, and we'll definitely let the people know. See if we can knock this lead problem out once and for
Yeah.
all.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, you guys have a good one.
Thank you.
Peace.
All right, there
There
you
you go.
go. Yeah, man.
Hopefully learn some things. I learned a couple things.
Definitely learned a couple things. Yeah, that's an interesting revelation you had on that situation.
Yeah, man. Yeah. Thinking about, my family, man. Definitely pretty sure we had, experiences and run-ins with lead, as a child, especially, playing in the unfinished basement back in the day. Yeah. But also didn't really have much time. Only got about 10 minutes left in the show.
Yeah.
But I at some point I do want to talk, if they're still on, I do want to talk to someone from Douglas County as far as the race connection. Of course, we talk about redlining. We know that Douglas County has acknowledged that health, like the connection between health and racism and discrimination. I forget how they exactly phrase that determination, but there hasn't been an acknowledgement between race and health and the history of discrimination. So want to touch on that conversation as far as this whole lead thing, behavioral health, redlining, race, that cross section.
Good idea. Have Rooney back on, talk a little bit about some of those things. Yep. Appreciate everybody that had some questions there and was able to take the time this morning for us to kind of break from the normal news portions and things that we're talking about to dig a little deeper in what's happening locally, man. Hyper locally, we really need to figure this out. As soon as you said lead, playing in lead dust, I was like, memories. Like I know a lot of us that know exactly what that lead dust look like, smell like.
Man,
you know what I'm saying? Everybody went to their grandma's house and saw the paint peeling on the window sills and so on and so forth, man, for real. So I hear that health disparities, and you've been touting that too. Once we heard that, racism is a public health emergency, they declared it.
It's not a light designation. It's not the connection that they try to act like racism don't even exist. So to acknowledge that it's connected to our poor health, that racism is literally killing us. Yeah, we need to talk about that. Yeah, we need to keep waving that flag. You can't just say that and not do nothing about it. Nah, what you do it like you acknowledged it. What you gonna do about it?
Right. And now I'm understanding now that what that means actually. Like part of that means
racism is killing us.
Part of that means you live in an area that, because of racism, you live in an area that has all these health disparities and all these things. So yeah, all the literal parts that contribute to this idea that racism is a public health emergency. Really interesting, and it's funny how far further we're gonna get so much further away from these things now, because of what's going on in the administration and stuff now. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, we got to fight extra hard. And back to the original point of us saying, not only do we got to fight, but we have to fight on a whole bunch of different levels and help each other do for self, because that's the only way we're going to do it. If I know cats that are in the construction industry and painters that I know can go and kind of utilize their services, maybe to go scrape some paint off of grandma's window sills and so on and so forth, then, we all kind of need to look out and help. It's one thing to have programs from the county like this that might have some programs for you to be able to apply for some of those things, but we also can't just depend on that. We got to go out and try to help as well. So that's it. RG said racism is a stressor, so it makes sense.
Yeah,
man. Appreciate that. 7:53 right now. If you believe in the concept of time, we got about 7 minutes left in the show. We want to kind of go over a couple things to look at as far as stories are concerned. So maybe, Buddy, we can jump into some of that and give some brief summaries on that, and maybe some links to people be able to look into these stories a little bit further. But I know that you had some things in mind you thought was important to talk about today, so I want to give you the last little bit of time for that.
Yeah. Again, more details are coming out, but I did want to acknowledge the shooting at the Florence Towers, and just speaking of these stories hitting close to home, we don't really talk about this type of stuff, especially in with lack of details. But again, I know a lot of chat chimers. I know a lot of people in our community have family members that live in Florence Tower, and shout out to Brother Sherman Wells, Big Sherm, if you will, who was on the scene actually shooting video at the time, and I believe he has a sister that lives in the tower. So I was just looking in, the comments of his post, and a lot of people, checking on uncles and aunts and family members, and just just a very scary situation. So again, hearts goes out to those who lost their lives, loved ones of the deceased. And again, there was an officer involved shooting in that. I do want to acknowledge that situation as well, given the there's the relationship between the community and the police. But it does not look like it looks like they were just doing their job in this case. It doesn't look like a no knock type situation, or without getting into that. It looks like they're
getting ongoing though.
Right. So we will definitely keep our eye on this, especially when it is an officer involved shooting. But yeah, just wanted to acknowledge that situation. There are some comments being made about mental health. Again, details are still coming out. I don't know if that is the case. Like Sister Wanda Lewis saying in the chat, there's a lot of depression, hardships, deprivation of tenants whose options are limited. One's mental state can definitely be impacted, especially with the living conditions that are known to exist in those towers. A few other people have made some pretty interesting comments about mental health in connection to this story. But again, we don't know that for sure. But it is something, interesting and worth talking about as far as mental health and just the state of mental health in our community in general. So just wanting to acknowledge that story. And again, those who lost their lives tragically. Actually, Brother Sherman Wells, who was on the scene, thank you for that. One of our top citizen journalists, if you ask me. He says she was very shook up as soon as she heard the shots. So she called me, and I was there in 5 minutes. One person is deceased, and one is in custody charged with first-degree murder. So thank you for that update, and glad your family member is all right. And man, tragic situation. So
mine too. Had a family member in the Florence Towers as well, so I had to check on
man.
Yep.
Okay. So kind of hit close to home for you as well, man. So yeah, definitely definitely prayers going out to those impacted and just traumatized by that situation. Also, I do want to acknowledge again, we have the senators on every Monday. Of course, this Monday is not our senator cipher, but we've been having the dynamic duo senators Ashley Spivey and Terrell McKinney on. But I wanted to acknowledge our other black senator, Brother Roundtree, who's actually making some moves out there in Lincoln. He's a representative of Bellevue, and again, in our recidivism push, we want to acknowledge any big win, and I would definitely consider this one of them. This latest bill, although it has not passed, it is the senator's priority bill, and it is moving forward according to the Nebraska Examiner. LB 319, which again is championed by Senator Victor Roundtree of Bellevue, would open the door for other felony drug offenders who currently can't access SNAP benefits as long as they've completed their sentence or are on, parole or under post-release supervision. Again, as it stands right now, those convicted of a drug felony cannot access SNAP benefits, previously known as food stamps, if they are completed. If they have completed the licensed or accredited treatment program, which again, in the area of recidivism and trying to stay out of jail, if you can eat, if you have some assistance in eating, especially after, spending multiple, maybe decades plus in jail, struggling to find a job, SNAP benefits can help. So yeah, big win, kind of crazy some of the things that the rights that are taken away from our brothers and sisters who make mistakes or just respond to the hand that they're dealt, but here we are. We'd love to speak to that brother, so yeah, just wanted to give him a shout out.
They want to take all your rights away for the rest of your life, whether you out of jail or not, whether you got, it seems so contradictory sometimes when you think about their justification for prison is often, well, they need to be away from society and rehab and so on and so forth. But what happens when you get out? Shouldn't you be able to re-enter society and get the same help everybody else needs to do that, especially, and maybe even some more help since you're in the situation? Messed up.
Institutionalized, like it's messed up situation. But again, shout out to Senator Victor Roundtree doing the good work out there. You know, it ain't just a dynamic duo fighting and putting in the work. So big shout out. I love seeing that.
Dynamic Duo will be here next Monday, so anticipate speaking to them about what's going on. We're still in the legislative session, and this is still Ballot of the Bullet season. So Ballot and the Bullet, we kind of renamed it Ballot and the Bullet
a little bit.
If you didn't check out the weekly wrap this time around, you missed out. Buddy had some fine words to say about what is your bullet, and we still want to put that out there. What is your bullet? What is your means to fight and your means to take care of each other? What is that? Because it ain't going to be just the ballot or the bullet. It's going to be the ballot and the bullet in a big way. So, so what is your bullet? Put that out there. Put that in Friends of First Sky Omaha, or you can always hit us up on firstsky.omaha@gmail.com and let us know. Love to hear about it.
Yeah. Other than that, man, my final thing is looking at housing. There's some housing stories, some housing conversations going on. Shout out to Brother Anthony Rogers Wright, kind of tipped us off on Friday. Something happened in the legislature to wrap up last week as far as the legislation guarding tenants and landlords. Excuse me. Landlord. I believe it was rent caps or landlord and guidances. I have to look back into it, but some movement happening as far as the housing. We're still fighting the towers situation, and I do acknowledge a shout out to Melissa Wright out at Channel 3, always doing the good work. I had brother Dewan Hayes out there talking about a new affordable housing unit that's supposed to go up across the street from Mandela Elementary and Miller Park. We'll definitely have to continue on our housing conversation, as I also saw reports of yet another homeless encampment being cleared out. So we just want to keep that front of mind, keep the conversation going, maybe bring that back up on Wednesday. But in the meantime, between time, that wraps it up, man. That does it for us today. Again, kind of a news Monday, a little everywhere with it, but I appreciate everybody tuned in with us. Kimra, I see you, Sister Snipe, coming through. Top of the morning.
It is 8:01 right now. If you believe in the concept of time, we're going to go ahead and get out of here. Thanks for joining us for another fresh edition of First Sky Omaha in the morning on a Monday.
In the morning.
Almost stepped on your line.
Hey.
Yeah, man. Appreciate it. Buddy, that hat. That's what's up.
Yeah, man. Yeah, thank you. Thank you.
Almost like a collaboration, almost like the
little
sky.
bit. Got the sky. Got a little bit. Speaking of collaborations.
There it is.
Yeah. Got to represent.
There it is. That's
speaking of collab.
My favorite design, man. Shout out to Sky Ree, who's doing his thing too. You can get that shirt right there too if you want to. OG First Sky, SCKY T. Part of the proceeds go to Underwood Tennis Group and also First Sky Omaha. So if you want to support, please do. You can hit this QR code. You can go to firstsky.omaha.com and hit the store button. Hit the join button as well. Become a member of the channel. Shout out to the $10 people, the $25 people, and the $50 people who have joined and become members of First Sky Omaha. Really appreciate that in a big way. And reason why I was commenting on the union, there's some new news coming out from the union. Union is still got some stuff going on. We're gonna have to talk about it. We can get back into it on Wednesday. But somebody else has now filed something else with the labor board after another filing. All this public documents that we can check out, and when we checked one of them out, one of them had my name on it. You brought my name in this? Okay, we'll talk about it. We did get a shout out from somebody from, I believe it was Union or a previous employee that was disgruntled about the fact that she was fired. Reached out at one point to say that we have been unfair and not been bringing them on the show. Excuse me. When I went back to look at it, I couldn't find that. I don't know if it disappeared or if I'm missing it. But anybody who is on that side of things wants to come and talk, you are always welcome to come on the show and talk.
Oh, yeah.
Reach out to us again, and we'll get you on there as well. And as far as Lakeisha Green, who is the executive director over there, she pushed her date back to be able to encompass some new announcements about what the union is going to be doing going forward. So we'll talk about it. But yeah, we'll update you on some news on some of that stuff that's going on Wednesday. And also another special guest that's coming on Wednesday as well. So stay tuned for that. And much, much more with First Sky Omaha in the morning.
Hey, in the morning.
We need to do a little harmony on that one.
There you go. I need a choir.
But you got some words for the people?
Man, again, shout out to the sisters. I apologize, kind of drawing a blank on their names.
Naudia McCracken and Noele Smith.
Thank you, Naudia and Noele. Sisters Naudia and Noele. Sorry about that, but thank you for coming on this morning, especially so early. we appreciate you. Dropping some education for the folks, man. Make sure you get your loved ones tested, especially the babies for the lead. Still dealing with that, man. So other than that, catch the same time, same place, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, right here on First Sky Omaha in the morning. Of course, check us out on our website, firstsky.omaha.com. Hit that join button. Of course, also follow us on social media, First Sky Omaha at everything. And yeah. In the meantime, between time, Paul B.
Take
it away.
Appreciate it. RG, I ain't forgot about you. We working on some of them 3X for sure. Appreciate that. And I appreciate you, Kimmer, for getting the shirt. We're steady trying to raise some funds for Brother Hassani Lee and them on that Underwood Tennis Group thing that we trying to really help, get some people some rights, man. Tennis needs some rights. So we need to really kind of keep on continuing to help that and all that good stuff. Brother Sherman Wells in the chat says there will be some crisis mental health people on site today at Florence Tower.
Nice.
Appreciate that announcement. Big time.
Yeah.
Big time. Yeah. This is rough. Like I said, we don't really talk too much sometimes when it comes to some of the crime stuff that's going on, but it's all starting to run into each other because we all family here, and everybody knows everybody, and this affects everybody all the time. And this is symptoms of some of the things that are going on here. And like Buddy said, if it's officers involved shooting, we're definitely going to be trying to keep our eye on that as well. And shout out to not just a news gang. Top citizen journalist, but a general in the news game, man. Sherman Wells, appreciate you always being the one that's out, boost to the roots out there when we can't be, and making sure we get the real news, the real story on what's happening. So appreciate you.
Big Sherm, fool.
Big Sherm in the piece, man. Shout out to everybody who joined us today. Thanks to the Umaha Tribe elders for allowing us to be on this land and speak while we're here. Thanks to our elders for allowing us to speak before you, and thanks for speaking with us on top of it, getting your advice all the time. Also, Kimber said, I love it. I love it too. I hear that, Kimber. We'll be talking about it. Shout out to Kimber. Shout out to Sherman. Shout out to everybody who's boost to the roots, soldiers out here with us in this news gang, and really trying to make sure that we get the news and get the information and hold people accountable and all the stuff that journalism does. We're going to keep on working on it as much as we can possibly do that. And I think it's probably more important than ever in this climate. Some people have been telling me that, and I kind of agree with them. So we're going to keep on doing what we do as long as we can. And it always involves you. So thank you for that. Pop says, thanks for starting our week off right. See you all on Wednesday. We will see you all on Wednesday. Take care of yourselves.
Peace.
By the way, Van Glorious. This is protected by the red, the black, and the green. At the crossroad, with the key.
By any means